If anybody's a tech or if you just like working on your own bike, you may notice that the bike feels like it kind of runs better on a hot, humid day. And when you get some moisture as part of your fuel mixture, and definitely with some heat, when you heat up your fuel mixture, the gasoline molecules atomize better. They actually knew that back in those days. This is the carburetor right here, that kind of bronze thing. And the horn for the carburetor, you notice, is facing towards the cooling fins on the cylinder. And it's picking up heat from the engine. So that's just one example of how there's a lot, you got to give these guys a lot of credit for what they knew. Other things in this gallery that are very, very rare, over in this corner, you can see a single cylinder engine, just a standalone engine. Probably the sole surviving specimen of what's called a buckboard motor. Buckboard motor. They had those four-wheel buckboards back in those days, and you could adapt your buckboard with a single-cylinder Harley engine. You could buy just that engine, Harley. They were probably produced in so low numbers. That would explain why that's the sole surviving example left. It turned up in the garage of a guy in La Crosse, Wisconsin back in 1999. One of our restorers, who was since retired, left real early in the morning because the guy said, you got to be at La Crosse by 8 o'clock because I got a lot I've got to do today. So the restorer got there, called my boss, and he said, this thing's for real. Sometimes we get those calls and it's like a 1962 Sprint engine. People think, oh, it's the first Harley engine. It's like, no, it's a 62 Sprint. Other things in this gallery, first known example of letterhead and some of the earliest little pocket catalogs that they gave away to customers, 1905, 1906, and in those days they're producing a dozen bikes a year, 24 bikes a year. One of my favorite things is the meeting minutes of the stockholders. The very first day that the company incorporated and dispersed their first stock, they wrote into that ledger right there. That's 1907. By then, I should have mentioned before, the most important thing is that they sold the first bike in 1903 to a guy named Henry Meyer. But they formed the first stockholders, and Bill Harley only got 5 shares because he wanted cash, because he was going to school. He was going to the University of Wisconsin to study engineering. And people think, well, he got left out in the cold because he didn't get nearly as much stock as the Davidson boys did. But the company was valued at $14,200, which at about this time last year, I think we weren't far off from that. But they took this photo. The photo off to the left is the entire company, 17 guys posing out in front of the building. Oh yeah, the lights on the floor. The very first Harleys were built in a factory shed because they started out in the basement of the Davidson family home. And William C. Davidson was the Davidson boys' father, and he said, guys, you're driving me crazy. Get it out of the house. So he gave them the lumber as a tool, and they built a 10 by 15 foot wooden shed, and this is the size of the space that they built those first bikes in. There's actually a photo of that shed right over here.